play a final, something special.
Yes, it certainly is, yeah. Two good teams playing as well. I expect to see some good rugby play this afternoon.
And yet, one of the theories in the clubhouse is that Leeds pack now might be the bigger, might be the stronger one in these heavy conditions.
Well, I'm not so sure about the size. I think they are certainly more mobile than the St Helens pack, and they are better equipped for these conditions. I feel the defensive ability will be proven today on St Helens. Although, having said that, St Helens have a lot of very capable players.
But nobody knows better than you, Eric, the St Helens class players.
That's right, yeah. We went out in the semi-final to St Helens. If you allow them to move the ball about, I feel that they will create a lot of opportunities and take them.
Well, no doubt about it, a tremendous match in prospect here, and the St Helens side obviously raring to go, but the Leeds coach, Maurice Bamford, as I said, not able to include David Stevenson, his signing last week from Wigan, but he moves David Creaser into that stand-off position, a vital position this one, I think. Peter Jackson, the Australian centre from Canberra, he'll be moving at centre, and John Bassnett, well, goodbye there from Widnes, but I think a lot will depend on the pace. Can that Leeds side match the pace of St Helens? Because in that St Helens lineup we've got Mark Elia, Les Quirk and Neil Holding, three very, very quick backs. McCormick is missing, he's out with a hamstring injury, but David Tanner, the ex-Fylde Rugby Union player, he comes in. And I think Alex Murphy will be looking to those two very big Welsh forwards, Suto and Evans, to cause a lot of problems in midfield. And Leeds man, well, if there are problems in midfield, Peter Tunks, the skipper, 3 times in Australian Grand Finals in Sydney, and a very powerful man, very powerful figure, but none better than this man, Gary Schofield. We've seen him here on TV score 4 tries against New Zealand, 2 against Australia, 1 against France. The tri-poacher supreme, number 3, Gary Schofield for Leeds. And the youngster, what a task to mark him, Paul Loughlin, 21 years old, last season's leading goal kicker, and a lad just coming into top form. And one there, been in top form for many, many years. Referee Fred Lindop in his last season with Rugby League, in his 4th John Player Special Trophy final. And I think, as rightly as you said, Eric, a kicking game developing already.
Yes, I think so. I think it's inevitable in these conditions. Neither team can afford to be bogged down in their own defensive third. And I feel certainly in these early stages there's going to be several close and tough interchanges until we get one team getting the supremacy.
And I think we may see quite a lot of drop ball like that, but referee Lindop not allowing Paul Forber, St Helens second row, to get that. So the first scrum of the match, and I don't think they'll be those jerseys, the red and white as the Saints and the blue and amber of Leeds, will be so clean in a few minutes' time. Leeds then in possession. And just a grin there from that Leeds player. Some very, very good, strong tackling. We can expect this in midfield. Roy Powell. Certainly number 11 for St Helens, Andy Forber there looks geared up. Phil Beavers. Used to different conditions than this, Phil Beavers, when he came from South Club in Brisbane, but adapted very well. Peter Suto, ex-Cardiff Rugby Union and Fulham Rugby League Club. That's a good kick from Neil Holding. Keeping the ball low to the ground, scuttering it across the very wet surface, and keeping his pack going forward. Always a good confidence boost to your pack, Eric, isn't it, to keep you going forward?
Yeah, the last thing that you want is to be penned down there, particularly in the early stages. Making mistakes in the early stages can be quite costly, and good tactics there from Neil Holding.
Referee Fred Lindop, years of experience, his 4th final, he's refereed in every major final, every major match, and already having a word with number 10 for St Helens, Peter Suto. big lad, Suto, 16.5 stone, been out with a neck injury for almost 2 seasons, and rather surprisingly only came back into St Helens first team squad a couple of weeks ago. And there's one against the head. Cooper, forward. We should look out for a lot of this man, Shane Cooper, captain of the Saints. There he is there. Well, rightly stamps his foot on the ground, but he's the motivator, the schemer behind things. Big, powerful front row. Missing Lee Crooks there, the Leeds front row, but still able to call in a specialist like Kevin Rain. Both of these sides renowned for attacking rugby, and I'm sure despite the weather conditions I think we'll see some good movement. Tunks. They refer to this lad in Sydney, Australia as the enforcer. I don't know why, but that's the sort of job they like to do. 8 and 10, pounding down the middle, very much like a heavyweight boxing championship. You're absorbing the knocks. To Vivas. Yes, offside. Referee Fred Lindop holding his left hand up there, signifying 5 yards. When the kick is made, no opposition can encroach within 5 yards of the person receiving the ball. Just been awarded a new 3 years contract this morning for the Vivas. Had 3 good seasons already with the Knowsley Road team. St Helens beats Widnes, Mansfield, Holden Oldham to get to this final. And Leeds accounted for Whitehaven, Halifax, Springfield Borough, and then that tremendous game, 19 points to 6 over Wigan in the semi-final. Just 5 minutes gone. Oh, that's a bad loss. Having a little trouble at the moment with this greasy ball, Eric.
Yes, noticeable there that it is errors that are going to dictate who gets the upper hand. It was noticeable there that good defensive work by St Helens forced Jackson to make a hurried kick, which put all his players offside. It gave St Helens the platform to set that attack up.
Paul Medley. Both of these second rows for Leeds, contenders for this year's Great Britain Tour. Medley and Powell. Powell tends to be more the 80-minute grafter player, and Medley the eye catcher, the runner with the ball. Jackson. I think it's significant that Leeds have kicked twice already to this wing of David Tanner's. I think possibly thinking he's an ex-Union player. He might be a little bit suspect at the moment, but he's coping, Eric, isn't he?
Yeah, he's coped quite well with the 2 kicks so far. He is relatively new to rugby league, and they're going to test him out in these early stages, see whether he can control the ball or not.
Yes, Fred Lindop, he was looking to the touch judge there. He's signalling that the ball was stolen. You can steal the ball whilst the tackle is in motion, but not once the tackle has been made. So a kick to this big 6'3", 14-stone youngster, Paul Loughlin, and it's a good kick too. Fred Lindop wanting the other ball off the pitch. Tony Burke. An ex-Leeds player himself, this number 8 for St Helens, so keen to impress. John Bassett. Good £40,000 bargain from Widnes at the beginning of the season. and offside. No score as yet. Leeds, David Creaser, just 22 years of age, one of the parlour amateur players, coming good in the game now. Strange to think St Helens, in their first final, they've been ever the bridesmaid. 5 times they've failed at the semi-final. Won every other trophy bar this one. But Leeds won the trophy twice, beat Salford and Widnes. Oh, that's a good run from Medley. And it's significant, I think, Eric, these 2 second rows, Medley and Powell, already playing a part in the game.
Yeah, I think so. They're both very different types of second rows. Medley is very, very strong. As he showed there, he came onto that ball extremely well, bumped the player off, went in field, almost came away with the ball. Powell's a different type. He's more of a grafter and tackler.
The referee, Fred Lindop, there, judging the knock-on. There was a slight interference with the St Helens player, but I think the knock-on's the decision. Cooper, that's a good ball to Beavers. Mark Elia. Suter. Alex Murphy has used this big Welsh prop to pound down the middle, then usually bringing Stuart Evans on, who's still learning the game, to do the same thing. Oh, that's a good run from Platt. Andy Platt, number 13, usually a second row, but relishing the loose forward spot in the absence of skipper Chris Arkwright. Holding, oh, beautiful break, but a good tackle from Ray Ashton. These were the 2 scrum halves on the 1984 Great Britain tour. That's a tricky kick. Yes. And the new rule last season with Marty Gerther, the fullback, captures the ball in his own dead ball line, stands still, it's a 25-yard tap. Ten minutes gone, still looking for that first serious break. Jackson. Should be 6 tackles. Some good forward driving here. Platt. Well, I think Shane Cooper was wanting some forwards to come off in there, Eric, wasn't he?
Yeah, I feel he possibly made the wrong decision there. They had something set up on the blind side and he came back to the open, but he could have done with a runner, definitely.
And the 6th tackle. Beavers keeping the pressure on. That's a good kick, sensible kick. Just keeps the pressure down in that bottom corner there. Very difficult in these conditions. If anything, a slight breeze in St Helens' favour. But this, one of the driest areas of the pitch. And loose arm. Yes, referee Fred Lindop judging that Saints hooker Paul Groves just packing down with one arm so that he gets nearer to the ball. He didn't get away with it. Surprising what goes on in a rugby league scrum these days, Eric.
Yeah. Well, I can't vouch for that myself. I've never been involved in one, thank goodness. But there's a definite pattern emerging, even after such a short period. The St Helens are asserting a positional superiority, yet they're not controlling the ball very well. Neither side, in fact, have gone more than 3 play-the balls.
Oh, that's a good ball, and that's a better one. Stevie Morris in the Eastern Suburbs clubs. It's a kick and chase, but I think St Helens have got it covered. They have. Neil Holding. A look of desperation on Neil Holding's part, but the best thing to do. And the first real opportunity there from Stevie Morris. A drop out. Peter Jackson. Leeds' first real foray into the St Helens 25-yard. Still using these forwards, Kevin Rain, Tunks, driving a wedge down the middle, Tunks again. Hoping to suck in the forwards, then move it out to these backs. No, play on. Paul Forber. Holding. St Helens pack not really running onto this ball, standing still at the moment. Back to Loughlin. Martiger, good run. Good attacking fullback this lad with Manly in New South Wales. Ashton, that's a good run from Powell. He's got Schofield on his outside, he's got David Creaser. It's a run for the line, he draws. I think he'll beat Gloves, and he does. Oh yes, excellent try. Creaser finished it off, but we should note there that it was Roy Powell, the drive, the strength of the man. It was the second row who made the gap, and David Creaser finished it off. His 14th try of the season, and first blood to Leeds, 4 points to 0.
Excellent work there from Ray Ashton. He ran across the pitch and turned Powell inside. Powell running very strong down the middle, draws the defender into him and puts it a perfect pass right into the breadbasket. David Creaser, I doubt if many players would catch him in full flight. And there he goes. What a beautiful try.
Good lad, just 22 years of age. You tend to think of David Creaser as a very experienced lad. I can remember him 4 or 5 years ago in the semi-final at Huddersfield as a youngster, popping in the corner for just a try like that, and he was a young sensation, and he's just coming now, I think, as another contender for the tour, and a goal kicker as well. Not the easiest of kicks, especially kicking out of very heavy conditions like this. Got 36 goals already. Another of this current fad, the round the corner style, but very, very successful. Looks a good attempt, it is. No trouble, no problem. So 6 points to 0 now to Leeds, and well appreciated by a very, very big contingent that's come over the Pennines to support them.
There we have it from the head-on position. You can see the strength of Powell's run there. Very difficult lad to contain when he's in full stride, and look at that perfect pass. David Creaser, always associated with finishing rather than creating in my mind, shows just why he's a top-class player.
Basket. Leeds using these first 2-3 further balls, using this big pack. There was certainly a smile on Maurice Bamford's face when he arrived at Central Park this morning and saw the conditions. Oh, Roy Hegarty. Well, this is the sort of lively forward Roy Hegarty. He's on to anything. Paul Groves wanting to get back in the game quickly, and offside. Well, I think they're going to take a tap, but I would go for goal at this stage. I'm sure wiser counsel will prevail. It does. Shane Cooper. Very often that players can let their hearts and emotions carry them away, but this lad, good thinker, rarely says a word, but knows what he's doing, and I think he's opted for the right job here. Very few more accurate kickers than this lad, Paul Loughlin. The Leeds leading kicker last season, 178 goals. 49 already this season. Not been kicking them all this season. David Tanner on the wing has been taking some. A big, powerful lad. And it's there, 2 points back to St Helens. So 6 points to 2 now for Leeds. And already the pitch cutting up in midfield, Eric.
Yes, it is. It was inevitable. Roy Haggerty there beginning to assert some of his enthusiasm. He played a significant part in the semi-final against Oldham in this way.
And that's significant. It just shows you the difficult conditions. Straight from the kick-off, the ball pumped right downfield. Very similar tactics to the rugby league of the 1920s and 30s when they had full-backs like Jim Brough and Jim Sullivan pumping the ball from one side of the field to the other. Roy Haggerty, very enthusiastic Roy Haggerty, a good try scorer too, over 100 tries in his career. Maskell. Jackson seems to be doing all the kicking for Leeds to Vivas, and Vivas putting it straight back to him. Well, back to Gurr. Leeds have spent well over £700,000 this season for players like Peter Jackson and Tunks, Schofield, and it's paying off. 20 minutes gone, 6 points to 2 here in the final. Again, Kevin Rain had a good game in the semi-final when he came on after only 5 minutes when Lee Crooks, the £175,000 buy, was injured. David Tanner. But that's a good tackle.
I think, Ray, there we're seeing the difference between the St Helens kicking game and the Leeds kicking game. It's the chase. Your kick is just as good as your chase. Previously, Saints put a good kick upfield. They had 2 defenders on him, but on each occasion, Marty Gurr was brought him free.
And it looks to be a knock-on, is it? I think it is, yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, please, we have an urgent message. Will Mr. Clint Key, please report to the...
A lot of work there for that front row. I wouldn't like to keep them in meat for a week. Oh, that's a good ball to Heron. Well worked there. Very tight conditions between Ashton and Heron. Powell. I said in the semi-final that this boy Roy Powell seems to put a lot of weight on, certainly doing him good. Gurr. That's a good ball to Schofield. But a forward pass. Colin Maskell, the hooker, a little bit exasperated with himself, but he'd no need to bother. It was a forward pass. And I think a good lively battle between these two hookers, Eric, not just in the scrums but in the loose play. I think possibly a tour place could hinge on these two lads.
Yeah, quite possibly. It's very interesting. There's quite a contrast in their styles as well. Paul Groves is the new style of hooker. He's more or less another halfback, number 7. Plus he's got all the attributes of a hooker, whereas we're looking at young Maskell, who's a very hard-working player. He knows when to pass and when to go with it. Both of them very good scrimmages. It's an ingredient for a very good game.
Beavers. Oh, he's missed him out well. Oh, Schofield again. Well, every time St Helens move the ball out wide, they look dangerous there, but just look at that man, number 3, Gary Schofield. We mentioned early on his try-scoring ability, and few have his ability.
Beavers flicks the ball out, a long pass, and tackle missed there. He just managed to break free. Interception on from Schofield. He stuck one hand out, but wasn't quite able to gather it.
But he's dangerous. And Neil Holding taking a knock around the head, but it fit again, and a good heel. It's nice to see both sides using the loose forward at the base of the scrum. One of the problems, if there are problems with this 6-tackle rule, is that I think the loose forward play not as creative as it once was. Suto. And there, I think we can see what Eric was talking about. Just 2 chases. We're very lucky John Bassnett knocked it on. But all that we had there was Shane Cooper and David Tanner, who followed that 40-50 yard kick on John Bassnett. It was very fortunate for St Helens that it was a knock-on. But there is the difference. The eagerness of Leeds in the chase and the tardiness of St Helens in the chase.
A very uncharacteristic mistake from John Bassnett there.
That's a good heel. Cooper looking to direct affairs. This is the boy who distributes the ball at the first and second receiver, the Kiwi forward. That's a good pass to Haggerty. That's a better one to Pratt. He's got a 3-2 situation. And Lesquer, 25 minutes gone, first touch of the ball. Shining white out on that left wing. Suto. This is better from St Helens now. Suddenly the pack a little lively. I think the pack was standing back too much, Eric.
Yeah, I think so. They're allowing the runners to gain a lot of ground. There's always problems tackling a big fella.
That's a good ball. It looks it. Oh no! Is it a try? Yes, it is. Forward momentum. That's the ruling. The Leeds supporters don't like it. He was tackled short of the line, but he slid the rest of the way, and the ruling is forward momentum takes you over. It's a try, and Fred Lingdop perfectly positioned behind the post. So St Helens suddenly become lively. The forwards begin to run onto the ball, and it's a different game. 6 points each, and what should be a comparatively simple kick here for Loughlin. But the big Leeds contingent behind the sticks there, they didn't like it. But I think it was a fair try. Loughlin already got 1 goal. Second attempt. And it's there, no problem, so St Helens, first time in the lead, 8 points to 6.
Good approach play, very strong running by Haggerty. Propped his foot in, delivered the ball back to Holding, and who put Loughlin away through in a beautiful gap. He is tackled short of the line, but it is a try because he didn't do a double movement. His hands were in contact with the ground, and he slid over the line.
And it's one of the advantages of being 6'3", Eric, isn't it?
I should say so.
Just 13 minutes left in this half. Tanner had a good baptism in rugby league, this lad, since signing from the final rugby union club. Roy Powell, who leads second row. Good stint of tackling. Groves played the ball himself. And I think he's having a laugh at somebody who had a clout at him. And a penalty there against Paul Groves for not playing the ball correctly. I don't think he touched the ball with his foot. A little bit of excitement there, and I think rather silly from Paul Groves there.
Yeah, it was. He'd just done one previously, actually, and he was lucky to get away with that. And play the ball. You'll see that as he gets up here, he fails to release the ball. His ball is still in his hands all the way through the movement. There's no doubt it's a penalty.
And a silly 2 points to give away if David Creaser kicks this. And I think Paul Groves knows it. About 42, 43 yards out. In front of the post. Well struck. No problems. Good goal kicking from a youngster. Very calm, very cool. 8 points each. And just as I think most people thought before this match, very, very evenly balanced game.
I think Paul Groves will be very disappointed with that penalty he gave away there. He got involved in a one-on-one situation. He should have thought more of his team, perhaps. But what a tremendous kick from David Creaser.
So, Neil Holding then to reply. Sensibly putting the ball along the floor, hoping to get the skid off the water, but he doesn't. Tunks. Good driving run from Tunks. One of these skippers who likes to set the example, lead by example. Plays for Canterbury Bankstown in Sydney. Oh, that's a good run from Roy Powell. Well, now then, he's got Schofield inside him. Has Schofield got the pace? No. Had to cut inside Groves, but good covering back there from that hooker, Paul Groves. But what a break by Roy Powell. Tremendous run. A vital stage in this half. 10 minutes to go in this first half, and the sixth tackle to Leeds. Back to Creaser. Powell again. Well, that's a good pass. And the sixth tackle. And I think Roy Powell saying to himself, what are you giving me all the ball for?
You can see now why he's a strong contender for a test place. Two tremendous runs he's just set up within the space of a minute.
Suto. Very difficult to a team to run its way out of this 25-yard line, but that's a good run from Paul Forber. But it's absorbing 3 and 4 tackles to move 30-40 yards in this heavy midfield. Haggerty, a wild pass, a silly pass, but well picked up by Cooper and well distributed. He's got work outside him. And that is a good tackle by Schofield. St Helens leading in the scrums and taken one against the head. Significant since coach Alex Murphy got Peter Suter in there and then Stuart Evans in there. He's added a 16-17 stone presence to the open side position, and it's certainly had a good effect on the hooking. And referee fiddling up there, signifying that the Leeds hooker was getting down too early for the ball. That's a good ball. And And a penalty, yes, no need for that. Peter Jackson wanted to get up to play the ball, niggling away, and really a silly penalty to give away there. If Creaser puts this ball to touch it, puts St Helens 30-40 yards back. John Bassnett. Maurice Bamford, the Leeds coach, Eric, able to use John Bassnett coming inside there because he's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah. Well, he runs like another forward, doesn't he? I wouldn't say he's one of the fastest players in the game, but he's very, very strong and very wise use of your winger, bringing him in field like that. He always bumps the first man off. I was just making a comment about Roy Haggerty there. His discipline. He's going to have to be careful. He's attracted the referee's attention now. He shouldn't overdo the enthusiastic approach.
And there is one with enthusiasm. Peter Tunks again. Leeds on the attack. Kevin Ray. Well, that's good play by Ashton. Tunks again, making an awful amount of ground, this lad. And a good ball handler, he can slip the ball away. Heron, that's a good ball to Jackson. Now, was it a knock on? I think it was. I think it is, yes. At least it's pleasing to see both of these sides not bogged down too heavily with the conditions, still trying to play the fluent attacking style that they're both renowned for. Won all the trophies in the history of the game, Leeds, and St Helens just wanting this one trophy to complete the scroll of honour. Oh, that's a bad loss. Creaser, he's got Jackson outside him, and that's all come from a mistake. Peter Jackson, but it takes class to snap up those mistakes. The drop ball by Peter Suto. Creaser was on it in a flash, and that's class rugby. A side that is able to take advantage of that. Leeds have done. And it's 12 points to 8 for Leeds. And this Jackson certainly making a big impression. It's only his third try of the season with Leeds, but since his signing from Canberra, he's played with style.
Yeah, a bit of an unforced error here, I feel. Dropped the ball, Suto in the tackle. Maskell picked it up and he moved it wide very quickly. A beautiful pass there. Came out to Peter Jackson, very, very strong runner. He had the room and the space to work in, and he went over in the corner. Good try.
And a difficult kick for Creaser, but he's already put 2 goals over. That conversion for his own try, and now the penalty. But this is by far his most difficult kick. 12 points to 8. Difficult for him running out of those bad conditions, but it's a beautifully struck ball. It's a tremendous kick, and how well young David Creaser might have that grin on his face. It's kicks like that on days like that and in conditions like we see there in that pitch. Well, they win trophies. 14 points to 8 now.
A very impressive tackle here. Forced the ball spilled. It's number 12 there, Paul Medley. Shipped the ball out, Maskell. I think that's David Heron onto Peter Jackson.
Just 3 minutes to go in this half. Ashton to Bassnett. Kevin Rain. Certainly this game very delicately balanced. Leeds, I'm sure, will be under no illusions of St Helens' play and style this last few weeks. On Boxing Day here, they were losing 22 points to 6 against Wigan, and then came out and made the score 32-22. So every chance of St Helens coming back. And offside. Good support from both teams. We had a record semi-final gate with Leeds and Wigan, and again another very big gate here. I've seen players, ex-players and amateur players from Wolverhampton, Durham, Hemel Hempstead and Leicester. The cold really spreading now, and a lot of people coming up for matches like this. Holding. That's a good ball to Platt. Andy Platt got that extra yard of pace to trouble Leeds. Haggerty. Beavers. This is good play. Oh, he should have got the ball out.
Excellent tackle by Peter Tonks there.
Cooper. And the sixth tackle coming up now then. Will St Helens opt to run it? They will. Attempted drop by Neil Holding, and it's valuable, yes, 1 point. Well worth the attempt, just with a couple of minutes now to the half-time whistle. It reduces that vital 6-point lead. 14 points to 9 now, neatly taken by Holding. His third drop goal of the season.
Very intelligent play there by Paul Groves, underlining my comment about him being a halfback as well as a number 9. Quick ball, it was needed in those situations if you're going to get a drop goal. Excellent kick by Holding as well.
The Leeds taking their time, just less than a minute left in this half. Tonks having a little bit of a treatment. In rugby league, of course, the game continues whilst the trainers are on. In fact, I think this week the rugby union themselves have now decided to copy the rugby league method. Roy Powell. Tonks. Les Quirk there, St Helens number 5, coming in well there, spotting Gary Schofield. Move into injury time. Leeds, I think, will be content just to hold the possession here, or the position, kick downfield. And well taken by Quirk. Good tackling from Leeds. Very good tackling, a good first half. And I think very much as we expected, Eric, some good play from either side.
Yeah, I think, and as I said at the start, the team that's controlling the ball, Leeds, are gaining the upper hand at this stage.
So 14 points to 9, Eric. The Leeds pack getting a little bit on top.
Yes, very impressed with Tonks and Powell. Tremendous contribution. A couple of big hits from Medley have tipped the scales their way. I think St Helens have got to come up with something this second half to get themselves back in the game.
Well, certainly they've got the stars to come up with in the second half. Lachlan, Holding, Elia and Quirk, they've got the pace, but at 14 points to 9 for Leeds, it's in the balance.
Certainly is. Back live in about 10 minutes' time. Now, let me put you in the picture as far as the FA Cup is concerned. 2 early kick-off matches this afternoon.
Yes, Des, just in time, 14-9 as you say, and I must confess, Eric, I wouldn't like to say who's going to win this, would you?
No, I wouldn't. Both teams came from behind to win in semi-finals. Peter Tonks there in picture, tremendous display in the first half, one of the big reasons why Leeds have dominated the first half.
Referee Lindop just waiting for the right time. The wind, slight breeze has dropped. Better weather coming over now. Nice to see both teams too having a change of strip. Some of those jerseys and those numbers getting very, very difficult. And David Heron. Kevin Rain. Significant, we've had 10 scrums in that first half. That's a lot of scrums these days for a half in rugby league. Since the introduction of the 6-tackle rule in 1966, it's been seen a big deduction of scrums. Well taken by Phil Beavers. Tony Burke. And I think coach Alex Murphy will have said one or two things to this St Helens pack to get running and to come running from depth. Mark Elia. Holding. But Ray Ashton keeping a tigerish hold of him. Ray Neal holding this scrum half. Got more pace than Ray Ashton, but certainly Ray Ashton giving him a good going over him. Holding again. Oh, that's a dangerous ball, but it's turned out well. Andy Platt to Forber. Lachlan. Good goal from Lachlan, but he's on his own. Now then, can he make it to the line himself? And he does. Oh, yes, what a try and what a reply from St Helens. I was only saying that here on Boxing Day at Central Park, they had a magnificent comeback in the second half, and they started the show again. And once again, it's the 6'3" height of that lad that just allowed him to get those extra inches to get over for that try. But what a start. They've moved the ball out wide and they cut the Leeds defence to ribbons.
What a tremendous turnover here. Andy Platt there wrestles free and gets the ball inside. He passes it out to Lachlan, who seems to have nowhere to go, but suddenly cuts back inside on an arcing run. Tucks the ball under his left arm to fend off the defender coming in from the right, and another long stretch out for the line. What a tremendous try. It's put St Helens right back in the game.
He certainly did, Eric. I felt that he had nowhere to go and he was in a no man's land, but he knew what he was doing, and this big strapping lad did it. Now, can he get the goal kick? He does. So, suddenly, from St Helens, trailing by 14-9, they're now in the lead, 15-14.
There's Platt receiving that tremendous long pass. He runs out wide, turns the ball back inside there to Forbo, gives it immediately to Lachlan, who seems to have nowhere to go. Heads inside, the fullback Marty Gurr really wanting the tremendous try. Good running, good backing up as well. He had support on his outside as he went over.
Yes, I think the Rugby League world very, very pleased when these two sides made it to the final. Both of them renowned for scintillating attacking play, and what a game they're serving up for us. That's a beautiful ball from Elia. It's this boy Lachlan again. He's got Platt outside him. Yes, good backing up by Cooper. Still going, Paul Groves. Oh, tremendous handling from St Helens. And suddenly it's Leeds on the rack. Neil Holding. Groves, Roy Haggerty. But a good tackle by Roy Power. Good cover tackle there from the second row for Leeds. Cooper. Oh, well taken by Paul Forber. Suto. Cooper again, but well read the situation by Creaser. But certainly when St Helens move this ball, it's almost like touch rugby despite the conditions. Andy Platt. Roy Powell putting some good tackles in, Eric, for Leeds.
Yeah, he's a very, very good defender, Roy. He works very hard at his game. His fitness levels are quite incredible.
Marquis with the New Zealand Test Centre. Got the pace. And that's a good heel and a necessary heel by Colin Maskell to Jackson. John Bassett. Oh, Marquis. Now then, is that a penalty? I think it is, yes. Yes, good decision there from Fred Lindop. Mark Elia was tackled, signifying that he was on the floor, and so not allowed to pass the ball out to the tackle. Bad slip by St Helens.
Yeah, one of the characteristics of St Helens play is their will to keep the ball alive, as we showed just then, and it's very exciting, but occasionally you make mistakes, particularly with the referee. When held's called, you've got to go down.
Roy Parwell looks like Frank Bruno, and I'm sure he's as hard as Frank Bruno. that's a good run. And there's his colleague, Paul Medley. We haven't seen as much of him, but when he gets the space, he's there. So it's Leeds now back again. Peter Tunks. Oh, and that's a good tackle. Tony Burt losing nothing against his more famous counterpart. And at last we got the sunshine out. Ashton. Cheeky run by Ray Ashton. And that's where I'm sure Coach Maurice Bamford, if he looks at the video there, will sympathise with number 7 Ray Ashton. He should have had the support. That's where the two big props for second row should be coming. Either side, let off there for St Helens. But suddenly the pace of this final gone up a few notches. And that's a good ball from Hegarty. That's better. Very adventurous rugby, both sides ambitious to move the ball about. Helens. Tunks settling it down, slowing it down. Powell again. Well, I'm sure this lad could go a few rounds with Mike Tyson if ever Frank Bruno decides not to bother.
Tremendous opening for St Helens in the second half. I don't know what Alec Murphy said to them at half-time, but it looks as if it's done the trick. They're working very much harder than they were towards the end of that first half.
And a good run by Tanner. Very sensible play from the lad, keeping hold, keeping possession, bringing it back.
I think one thing that has happened here, Ray, is that St Helens are being given a lot more scope to operate the type of game that they're good at. They're being able to offload the ball. The Leeds defence is not quite as keen as it was in the first half. And having said that, in goes Roy Powell again to throw Tony Burt. Tremendous tackle. He's had a great game.
Cooper, Lachlan. Oh, he sized up the area. Well, there were a few worries about Paul Lachlan and facing Gary Schofield, but I spoke to him midweek and he said, well, no problems, Ray, no problem. Good run from Gurr. Ray Ashton. I think one of the reasons for this sudden loss of ball is that both sides have suddenly come out and decided, look, caution to the wind, we're moving it about. And what great rugby. Hegarty. And yet another power tackle. Both sides, of course, not just playing for the honour of winning the trophy and the medal. £16,000 to the winners, £9,000 to the runners-up. Well, now that should be another 6 tackles. It was a good tackle by Paul Medley, the lead second row. Stopped a dangerous situation. Groves. Delia. I'm sure if Leeds can just withstand this impact from St Helens, they'll come back. It's certainly been a hectic 10 minutes. And a typical kick again by Vivas, keeping the attack going, keeping the momentum.
I think, Ray, they've come out with a new purpose this half, St Helens. They're keen to put their stamp on the game and carry the game through the way they want it played. A lot more defensive pressure, a lot more intelligence in the passing and running.
And yet I think one of the features of Leeds' play this season, Eric, has been the stiffening up of the defence, hasn't it?
That's right, yeah. It's one thing they've always been criticised for. The team that can entertain, but they haven't got it when it's wanting. But they've certainly shown us today a stiffer side to the game. Noticeable Paul Medley, who we normally associate as a strong wide runner. There he takes that ball in there. Has done 3 tremendous big hits, and it's obviously something that's been introduced to him this season.
Jackson. Oh, that's a superb kick. Peter Jackson, long of frame and long of leg. Put a 60-yard kick in there. Put Leeds back on the attack. Saves a lot of time, a lot of pressure for your forwards. And just, of course, that 1 point difference, 15-14 to St Helens. A good thinking there from that number 4 for Leeds, Peter Jackson. And of course St Helens facing what slight breeze there is. I think Roy Ashton was wanting to take the ball off Neil Holding. Well, I've heard of cheek, but I think that's going a bit too far. Good cover work by David Heron. This solid Leeds loose forward in his 10th season, his testimonial season since he signed from the Hunslet Boys Amateur Club. Yes, that's a good pass. Very difficult in midfield there, the mud really clinging to the boots.
It's very noticeable, really. St Helens are controlling the ball an awful lot better than they were earlier. And as the comment made earlier between us, the team that controls the ball tends to gain superiority for a period of time. And there we go again.
Well, Neil Holding having a few problems there.
Yeah.
Even the ball a little bit too slow down. And of course the knock on there on the 6th tackle, the ball now, new law this season, passed over to the opposition. It keeps the play going. And he's lost it. Kevin Rains lost it. So, Shane Cooper. Haggerty. He enjoys his game, this lad. That's a good run from Platts. Launched himself well. But again, David Heron spotted the situation. Groves. Well, the crowd roaring for that tackle, but I think it was on the chest, not so much round the neck. Cooper. And the 6th tackle coming up. Beavers. Oh, well taken by Kevin Rain. Just couldn't hold it, almost like the goalkeeper going down in the corner. Had a good game, this number 10. Come in for the injured Lee Crooks, who had shoulder trouble in the semi-final. Oh, that's a good move from Holding. Just couldn't get away. Again, on drier conditions, this man at his best, coming away on the blind side of the scrum. Suto. St Helens just a 1 point in the lead, 15 points to 14. That's a good ball from Loughlin, but he couldn't control it. Minutes gone, second half, 15-14 St Helens. This is better for Leeds. Schofield. I was almost daring to say, Eric, we've not seen too much of Schofield, and yet when we say that, he scores, doesn't he?
He's one of those type of players, isn't he, Ray? He can be out of the game for a long time, very much like Elia in that respect. He's a sniffer. He's, I suppose, soccer's equivalent would have been Alan Clark. You know, he's always there when the goals were needed. Schofield's there when the tries needed.
Haggerty. Oh, and a beautiful ball from Haggerty to Platt. Offside. In fact, Mark Elia there should never really have come into the line. Tragedy there for St Helens. Good opportunity, but Mark Elia, too eager, too ambitious, knocked the ball forward and taken by David Tanner. So offside, more accidental than deliberate. But a kick, nevertheless. And Leeds' turn for pressure now. And I'm sure Leeds will be better employed to go back to the first half tactics of using these big forwards to pound down the middle. They certainly gave St Helens problems in that first half. Oh, that's a good tackle by Platt. Header again. Now then, could they be lining up for the drop goal? Roy Powell again, just couldn't get the ball away, but every time this lad has the ball, he's dangerous. The sixth tackle. Chunks. Quirk. St Helens not being able to get away, and of course they've got the wind against them. It's getting stronger now, much more blustery. Beavers. That's good defence from Leeds. 5 tackles they've had, and St Helens have barely made a yard. And a desperation kick there from Neil Holding. Heron. Not had the opportunities that he had in that semi-final against Wigan, Heron, for the ball play, has he?
No, he hasn't. It's a different type of game, and I feel that his attack hasn't been as good as his defence, David. I feel that at the moment Leeds are trying to be a little bit too clever by half. They're trying to set up plays that aren't on, but they're better off just driving up the middle, as we said earlier, with the forwards, and then set something up as soon as they see the gaps.
Powell, and there's one forward who has the gap. Oh, he's got him outside. Oh, what an interception. Just couldn't get the ball away early enough for Peter Jackson. And what a timely interception there. And it looks for Neil Holding as if it's a knee in the back or a wrenched back muscles.
Did a good job there, Roy Powell. Held up in the tackle and put a pass out, which was risky. No need to do it. Intercepted by the number 7, I think. Neil Holding.
Yes, the referee deciding that stopping the play is the safest thing. 20 minutes to go. The final stages, when the pressure begins to tell, the energy begins to sap, and Leeds just needing that extra point. 15-14 for St Helens, and a bad kick there from St Helens. Not really relieved the pressure. Heron. Tunks. Powerful. Whenever Tunks and Medley have the ball, they gain 10 yards. Tremendous pressure here from Leeds. Using the pack, Kevin Rain, tremendous run. This is where Leeds are dangerous. It's not their usual style, but play to the strengths. And he's dropped it.
Loss of control there. It spoiled what was looking like a very promising scoring movement. Doing the simple thing and doing it extremely well. You can see it's not pretty, but it's really effective in these conditions. Full marks to Peter Tunks.
Yes, good pressure from Leeds. But St Helens have worked very, very hard on the tackling bags this week under the fitness condition of Clive Griffiths, and certainly it's paid off there. Lachlan. Ashton. Well, that's a good run from Medley. This is where he wants to be, out in the space. Real danger from this Leeds second row. What a duo they're becoming. Relentless pressure here on the St Helens line. Ashton to Heron. Sixth tackle coming up. Well, I think this would be worth a drop goal. It gives fresh heart to the team. That's a good rubber kick. Well taken by Lachlan. I think Leeds missing a couple of opportunities for drop goals there, Eric.
Well, I'm not so sure, Ray. I'd be quite happy with those tactics at this stage. It's keeping St Helens under pressure. I feel that in the early stages, Leeds haven't done enough of that, and that's why St Helens got back into the game. That was a good kick.
Well, I've always liked points on the board, Eric. St Helens. Desperate to get out of here now. And the sixth tackle yet again. Beavers. And we see now that the length of those kicks, nothing like they were in the first half. The wind is getting up now. Ashton. That's a good tackle from Groves. Masker. Leeds have been in this final 4 occasions, won the final twice, but just 1 point off at the moment, 15-14%. That's a good kick through now. Phil Beavers seem to leave it. Good ball to Les Quirk. Had very little to do, Les Quirk, but he should have come inside there. He certainly had something to say to himself. Should have been 6 tackles.
Turnover of possession there. Beavers picked it up and got it wide. He noticed Slippery Morris was out of position there. Quirk coming down the touchline. Well tackled there by Powell, covering across.
And big, bulky number 15 there, Stuart Evans, the ex-Welsh Rugby Union Meath prop, just being quietly introduced to the game, coming on.
It's very noticeable also, Ray, that Gary Schofield has featured in the last 2 attacks quite prominently. Perhaps there's been a change of position out there. He seems to be playing from stand-off.
Certainly relentless pressure here from Leeds. Looking for that extra point. Schofield again, directing operations. And the 6th tackle again. Well, 3 times they've been down here, 3 times they've denied it. Now they're looking for it, but a bad one. Very bad one from Ray Ashton. Just 15 minutes to go.
I thought that was bad play by Leeds there. He put the drop goal on and not one of them followed it. Ray Ashton ended up chasing it. They could have contained the St Helens runner quite easily.
St Helens now using Stuart Evans. 16.5 stone. Meets another 16.5 stone. And this is the problem for Saints. They just cannot get away from this 25-yard. They cannot make the break. The Leeds defence solid. And there again, the 6th tackle. Lockley. Well, he spotted the gap, Paul Lockley, but that gap closed very, very quickly. And it's the first handover. And this could spell danger for St Helens. David Heron.
Tremendous defence there by Leeds that led to that turnover of possession.
Powell. Leeds coming back to their tactics of the first half. 3 or 4 drives with these big forwards, Tunks. This is good play from Leeds. Yeah. I think actually Peter Jackson was looking for Marty Gere to come on his outside.
I think they should let the ball flow now, Leeds. They've certainly got the numerical superiority out there.
Well-intentioned, but wingman Morris not really taking advantage of David Heron's kick there. And really that allows Saints to take the ball on the 25-yard line and give the ball straight away to Stuart Evans. A long, long time since St Helens had a neat forward in their ranks. We go back to the 30s when Arthur Lemon came up from Neath. It's significant, isn't it, Eric, that just that one kick by David Heron has resulted in, what, 45 yards gain by St Helens.
Yeah, that's right. Underlines the importance of the kicking game, which both sides have used, but leads to greater effect.
Good run by Roy Haggerty. And St Helens now firmly in the Leeds half for the first time for that good while. Oh, that's a good ball to Forber. Oh, that was a wild pass. Holding, sensibly realising that it was the 6th tackle. He was tempted to pass, but that was good play from that scrum half, Neil Holding. He put the kick in, kept the pressure on, and suddenly now, after a magnificent defensive stint from St Helens, we're back in the Leeds 25. And just that 1 point difference, 15-14 to St Helens. Ray Ashton to put the ball in the scrum to Bassney. Now Leeds having difficulty moving out of the 25-yard. Peter Tunks. Masker, but this is good handling now. David Tanner. Good utility player, played at stand-off, centre, and on the wing since his signing this season. Evans. Elliott. St Helens using Stuart Evans now, coming short on this ball since his arrival on the field, Eric.
Yeah, I would think that they're trying to use his size, obviously, on the short, down the middle runs to create a little bit of space so that they can then start moving the ball. He certainly helped them a bit. He's taken a bit of the load off. We're now seeing a bit more penetration from St Helens.
And Kevin Rain going off the field, just a fresh man, nothing wrong with his play, had a sterling game. And it'll be John Furbank, the ex-Elland amateur rugby league player, coming on. And also number 14, the top left of our picture there, Carl Gibson coming on for John Bassnett. Gibson leads top try scorer before today, 13 tries. Just less than 10 minutes, 2 fresh men on. Can they make the difference? John Furbank, one of the 5 Furbank brothers in the game. I remember playing with his father, Jack Furbank, who, when he was at Leeds himself. Powell. And Leeds coming back now. Nobody leaving this ground. Both of these two packs of forwards, I think, will welcome the bat after this match. They put a lot of work in, a lot of hard graft. Oh, good chance from Paul Medley, but just too far. And what are the problems by those kicks from Medley? Well-intentioned, but when they do roll dead like that, they do allow St Helens to tap the ball on the 25. And it gives St Helens that vital chance to clear the line. Just 8 minutes to go. That was a forward pass. Ray Ashton to feed the ball. Creaser. 1 point difference. Leeds now pressing for that point. 15 points to 14 to St Helens. Leeds had all the pressure this half. And for my money, missed 3 or 4 drop goal chances. John Furbank. He'll find the heat of this competition, different from his amateur days. Ashton. And the 6th tackle again. Schofield attempting a drop this time. It looks a good one. Oh, it's hit the post. Hit the post. Dramatically there for St Helens. Well, Leeds now deciding they're going for a drop goal, and I think they should have started a lot earlier. 10-15 minutes ago, in fact. But nevertheless, it's Neil Holding coming away with the ball. And what a let-off there for St Helens. 7 minutes left. St Helens will want to hold this ball. And rather foolishly they're taking it in front of the post. One of the golden rules of play. Move the ball away from those posts. Haggerty. That's a good ball to Paul Farber, and that's a good run. A risky pass from Roy Haggerty, but well taken advantage of. And the 6th tackle again to Loughlin. He needs a good long kick here, and he puts one in. Steve Morris. And that's the difference. Les Quirk there, getting up very, very quickly. Paul Medley. Well, Leeds must move this ball about, mustn't they? Yeah,
I think so. It's reaching the closing stages, and it's noticeable how much keener Saints' defence has become as a result of being in front. You know, they're going to hold on to this. I think Leeds have got to come up with something special, and the only way I feel is by letting it loose a little bit more.
Carl Gibson there, first touch of the ball. Tunks, back to Gibson. And there's the one man that they are keeping control of, Gary Schofield. The 6th tackle. Leeds will have to kick. No, they're not. They're moving it. And a handover. Just over 5 minutes to go. Saints still clinging to that 1 point lead. 15 points to 14. Holding. Sensibly. Oh, he's lost it. A knock on. John Furbank there in the front row position. I think he felt he should have had that ball, but referee Lindop said no. Schofield. What a fine defensive battle there's been there between those two internationals. The Great Britain lad Schofield, the Keighley, Mark Elliott. And I don't think it'll be long before this lad's an international, Roy Powell. Eden. Loughlin, gratefully received. And St Helens surely must hold on to this possession. They've got to get deep into the Leeds half. Clinging to the 1-point lead, 15 points to 14. Four minutes to go. The crowd, the St Helens section, roaring out when the Saints go marching in, but there's still plenty of time for Leeds to come back. One goal would do it, one try would do it. Holding, sensible kick. Neil Holding knows that that scrum will absorb a minute. But I'm sure my two colleagues from the commentary box, Maurice Bamford and Alex Murphy, will be suffering all sorts of agonies down there on the bench. Ashton to Fairbank, but all credit to Leeds, they're moving it, but just look at the tackle there. Paul Groves had a fine game. Leeds again. Three minutes to go. Leeds requiring 2 points to go in the lead. 15-14 to St Helens. Tunks. Oh, that's a good ball to Jackson. He's got Morris away, but it's a forward pass. They'll have to come back. There's a chase. The crowd are roaring. Magnificent cover there from Shane Cooper, but it was a forward pass. Set the temperatures racing, but to no avail, Eric.
Yeah, it was a good decision there from Fred Lindop. Very difficult one to make. It was slightly forward. Yeah, as we see the pass, this Peter Jackson coming out to the left, and it was slightly forward.
But it just shows you what ability this Leeds side have. They've got the stars, they've got the talent. All they want is the opportunity, and they've got 2 minutes in which to do it. Oh, St Helens, 2 minutes and 6 tackles to hang on to this trophy. Haggerty sensibly taking the ball away himself. Grin on his face. I think he can sense that the trophy could be theirs. That's a good run. That's a good run. And the 6th tackle coming up. Paul Loughlin, the man of the match. 2 tries, 3 goals to his credit. And that's a dangerous ball. He's just got it. Just got the ball, but what it does, it makes Leeds have to drop the ball out under the 25. Under the line. A minute to go. 15-14 to St Helens. Despairing effort here from Leeds. But all credit to both sides. In dreadful conditions. Driving rain greeted us when we arrived at Central Park this morning. It continued until just before the kick-off. The pitch has churned up. But what creditable performance these two sides have put on. Oh, and Neil Holding's away. Good tackle. Good cover tackle there. Good loose forward play from Heron, but St Helens on the attack. Haggerty trying one of his drop goals. Now, can Leeds go to the other end of the field? He's lost it. That's a tragic loss. 30 seconds to go. Paul forward, driving for the line. Is he over? No. He'll be disappointed, the lad. Could have been the try that clinched it. But referee Fred Lindop again, and what a fine game he's had. What a pity it is that this man is in his last season of refereeing. He's got to retire under the compulsory 50 years of age. Into extra time now. And Ray Ashton looking to get the ball to Schofield. The only trophy that St Helens have not won. Good tackle. Good tackle. St Helens defence pinning Leeds down here. Schofield. This is adventurous play. Good play. But well dropped. Well covered by Neil Holding. Acting in the role of the sweeper. There is the hooter. It's full time. It's all over. Tremendous game. Exciting victory. Only 15-14 to St Helens. The first time they've ever won the trophy. Completes all the major events now. But what credit to both sides. They played good rugby, entertaining rugby. And Paul Loughlin there being mobbed for his performance. The man of the match, only 21 years of age, but already a mature player in the game. 3 good goals, 2 good tries. And once again it's coach Alex Murphy, the magic maestro that they call him. Murphy the mouth as he's known, but very often he backs that mouth with the right production, Eric, doesn't he?
He certainly has done today. Whatever he said to him at half-time has had a tremendous effect on them. Looking through the St Helens team, I was very impressed with Loughlin's display. More impressed with Neil Holden. I thought he had a tremendous game. All the pack performed with credit. Particular single out Paul Groves, Paul Forbert and Roy Haggerty and Andy Platts, who all had tremendous games.
And
the Leeds side were always under pressure towards the end.
And Paul Groves there, delighted. He was signed by St Helens for 40,000 from Salford. His career looked to be ebbing away, but here he is, back in contention. Alex Murphy coached Warrington to 2 trophy wins. He's taken Wigan to 1 trophy win. And now he's guided his hometown of St Helens to the first win in their history. I think we'll have trouble keeping him quiet next week, but Shane Cooper, the quiet man, the skipper, receives the John Player Special Trophy from Peter Dyke, the director of Imperial Tobacco Limited.
Do you think you managed to survive the Leeds pressure in the last 20 minutes or so?
Well, we just taken our hearts out, and we knew it, you know, it mattered if we taken our hearts out, and that's what we did. Taking our hearts out for the full 40 minutes of the second half. It was tremendous.
And Paul Loughlin had a tremendous game, didn't he?
Oh, for sure, he scored all our points, I think. Yeah, tremendous, actually.
You've got to enjoy yourself. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes, tremendous performance from St Helens defensively in that second half. And Mr. Peter Dyke there must be a very generous man, handing out the champagne. But what a performance, really a tribute to rugby league. 15 points.
Playing in unfamiliar positions today because